Hi Flosstube, my name's Lisa from the Shady Tree Stitches, and I thought it was about time I joined this craze of making a floss tube. I live in Maitland in Australia, which is about 2 hours north of Sydney, and I've just moved down here from Tamworth, which was in the middle of New South Wales. So I've spent the last few years of my life living in a regional city, and we've come a little bit closer to the big smoke. I wanted to make a floss tube because I have just refound my love of cross stitch. I never used to do anything stitch related, and then when I was at university, a couple of my friends went on a holiday with me and they were all doing their cross stitch. And I thought, how boring is that? Why would you want to do cross stitch? So I read a book or something else, I don't remember. And then I thought, oh well, we're going on another trip. They're all going to be doing their cross stitch. I need something to do. So I went and bought a long stitch kit and I did that. And I've only just moved here, so I'm in the process of unpacking. But when I finish unpacking, I will find you that long stitch because I know that's my first project. Anyway, I didn't really enjoy the long stitch, so I began cross stitching. And then I stitched, and I stitched for quite a few years. Had a great time doing it, did lots and lots of different projects. And then life got busy. I'm a high school teacher, I teach music, and I am also a foster carer of 2 children who are currently aged 9 and 11. And so they take up a lot of my time. Anyway, this year I decided, right, it's time for me to find something to relax me and to take away the edge of the stress of other parts of my life. And so I thought, why not? Let's get back into my stitching. And so I thought I'll start really simple. I was going on a cruise and I knew that I'd want to do something on the cruise. So I got myself a piece of Aida and I subscribed to the Crosstitcher magazine and I picked a pattern out of that called Christmas Rules. And I decided that I would stitch the Christmas rules, and while I was on the cruise for Christmas, just using, bought a bunch of cheap threads because, as I said before, all my stash is boxed and in a storage shed. So I haven't got it with me. So I had basically nothing. And I did that. And it was pretty cool. So I will just grab that so I can show you what it looks like. Okay, so here is the Christmas rules from the Crosstitcher magazine. I changed around the colours. I did different things. Just basically to suit the simple packet of threads that I got cheaply and this really, really inexpensive piece of Aida. So I enjoyed doing that, and I actually finished that on the 30th of January. Had to wait to find some beads. So that was a good project on the cruise, and it really got me back into enjoying my cross stitch. And also that time I discovered Flosstube. I'd sort of heard of it and I went, again, who'd want to watch someone talk about their stitching? How boring would that be? And yet here I am. I love it. It is so good to watch all these people. And I've got quite a few shout outs to do to different people. There's so many that I'm finding and enjoying. In particular, obviously, Aussie Stitcher. I looked for an Australian one first. And a lot of the people on one of my Facebook groups helped to point me in the right direction of some people they like to watch. Been enjoying the Sunshine Stitches. They're really hilarious. They have lots of fun. And I also have been really enjoying watching Sammy J. I originally, when I saw her, I thought, what on earth? She's, wearing a fluoro vest, and then I eventually worked out it was work related. And I am so jealous, Sammy J. Can I say, I wish I had a job that I could stitch at. As I said, I'm a high school teacher, so I don't have time to stitch at all at school. Anyway, through Flosstube, I found out about a few other things that were happening, and I joined up the embroidery.com one about stitching every day for the month of February. And I thought, beautiful. That is what I want to do anyway. That was my New Year's resolution, to stitch every day in February, in the year. So in February was going to be pretty easy. And I managed to do it. I'm not sure what day I joined. It was somewhere right at the beginning of the month, and I successfully stitched more than the half an hour required every day. In the month of February, I finished quite a few projects. So this one I finished early on in February, and I'd been trying to work on this for years. It had been a whip that had been put away, and pretty much why I'd given up stitching. It's a beautiful piece. an absolute stunning piece by Shepherd's Bush. Love, love, love Shepherd's Bush, but it's got so many intricate stitches and it's really, really long. Still going, nearly down the bottom. So it's hard to show you the whole thing in one go, but there you go. So that one's called St. Peter's Fair by Shepherd's Bush. And I was able to finish that because Flosstube taught me about magnifying glasses. I'd had a few things that I tried. In Australia, we're really not lucky. We don't have a lot of great supplies. We have a couple of really good stores, but they're few and far between. And because I came from regional New South Wales, I didn't really have access to a lot of them. But what I did have access to was the Embroiderers Guild, and I joined that while I was in Tamworth. And I loved going every week and stitching. The ladies there did some exquisite work, particularly in Hardanger, crewel work, Brazilian. And they didn't do counter cross stitch except for one lady. They actually thought it was too hard. So they appreciated my counter cross stitch, and I like doing the other embroideries. I quite enjoy the drawn thread work and the other things intermixed with the cross stitch, but cross stitch is my passion. I really, really enjoy it. So I finished this one in the beginning of February. My first whip finished in February, and it really inspired me to get going. Now I thought when I got back into it at the beginning of the year, oh look, I won't do too much, I won't do anything too fancy. And the reason I got the Crosstitcher subscription was I thought easiest thing to do is just jump on and do a SAL. I'd heard about SALs, I read about SALs, and I thought, yep, I did one. It was 2 years ago. I did a frosted pumpkin one of was a journey around the world. And again, all these different ones I can show you later, but I'm in the process of moving, so for the rest of this year, pretty much all my stash and all my cross stitches, everything's in boxes locked up in a storage shed that would be too hard to access. So if I'm still around at the end of the year and you actually like watching me, I will get them all out and have great fun showing them all to you when I can. But for now, we'll have to just stick with my whips and my plans and all those sorts of things. I have been being very naughty and I've been shopping and I've got a lot of stash to get through, but not today. I just wanted to say hello today and get started because it's the 1st of March. And I've been wanting to do this for probably about a month and a half, but a friend of mine's going to do it with me, and she lives in Sydney, which is 2 hours away. We haven't been able to get together to get it started, so I decided, why not? It's 1st of March, I'm going to get it started. So as I said, I joined a SAL, and the first SAL I joined involved this one. This is on my little stand frame, and it is the Crosstitcher's Fairytale one. So I've done January, Fairy Godmother, and I've done February, Snow White. And again, I'm sort of doing my own thing with my own threads and my own piece of Aida, because I put myself back in kindergarten, which is fine. No offense to anyone who loves stitching with Aida. Aida is really good to start with and really good to find the holes. I just prefer even weave. I prefer an even weave or a Lagana even more than a linen. That's just my preference. So I have moved back onto that now with what I'm doing. So yeah, I thought, oh well, simple little monthly SAL, that'll keep me going. Didn't take me long to stitch the first one. Border took a while. Got me back into beading. I love doing beading as well. And so I was hooked. So here I am. So I am working on 3 monthly SALs at the moment. I've got the one from the Crosstitcher magazine. I've got another one that I didn't bring into this room today, which is called Painted Orphans from Ship's Manor, and it's a series of houses. And I was using that one for a lot of my stitching in the challenge to stitch every day. And then I found the challenge that Sammy J talks about a lot, and that is the one that's to do with the Hunger Games. So on SammyJstitches. So I joined that. And so I joined that in round 3, which is where we are now, District 3, and I was amazed at how easy it was to get my homework done. I would never have thought that brown and grey, which is what I mostly needed to stitch in this month, or for these 3 weeks, was something I would be stitching in. I'm a bright coloured person. But the border of my painted Orphans is grey, and there's a lot of stitches, and I haven't finished it. So it's now waiting for next district, because if there's grey again, it'll come in handy. And I also then had to start a new project. Oops. And so I started a new one, which was Quilter's Home by, I'm not actually sure who it's by. I'll have a look. Anyway, next video I will get it out and show you. But I need a brown, and it is all bordered in brown, and it's got brown beds and things. So I did that, and I was successful in completing my homework for District 3 and also in doing my Stitch Every Day in February. So the reason I started today is it is the 1st of March and there's a whole bunch of new competitions starting. What I've noticed on watching Flosstube is that there's a big variety of people. I love that. I'm subscribed to heaps at the moment, and different people. Most people I find I can relate something to, but there's a couple I don't, but that's okay. I don't have to watch everyone. So hopefully some of you might relate to me. And what I think I've got that a couple of other people don't have is a slightly different style. A lot of people I watch tend to be stitching the same projects or the same sort of projects, and I like some of those projects and I don't like others. And I'll say up front, I am not a Haid person at this stage. I tend to do medium-sized projects. I used to be fairly monogamous in my stitching. In fact, I generally only have 2 or 3 on the go. However, that has changed. So I now currently have 3 SALs and 2 other projects on the go. So I've got, plus a small one for when I'm traveling. So I've got 6 whips at the moment, but I'll show you all the rest of them next time. Apart from that, I just thought I would say happy 1st of March, happy stitching to everyone who is getting started on it, and hopefully I can work out how to do this Flosstube thing. The first step was the room. I actually came in just to test out the room. My family are at home. As I said, I've got a 9 and 11-year-old, and they're home at the moment doing their thing, and you know, showers and getting ready for bed. So I'll have to find a time that suits, and hopefully my friend will be able to join me soon and we can do it joint. So thank you so much for watching, and I will look forward to speaking to you next time.